With the 2025 MLB Draft officially completed, I want to dive into some of the picks that my favorite team, the Blue Jays, have made this draft. This is important to me as the Jays have had some real drafting struggles in the past and are hoping to fix that. I'm going to spend more time on some picks than others, so bear with me here. Let's get into it.
With the eighth pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Toronto Blue Jays select JoJo Parker, a shortstop.
Starting off with the first three rounds of the draft, the Jays selected high school shortstop JoJo Parker with the 8th overall pick in the first round. This was honestly a bit of a shock to me, but I've warmed up a little to this pick. My biggest hope coming into the draft was that Liam Doyle, who was projected as the ninth best player by MLB Pipeline, was going to fall to the Jays, as I really liked what I saw from watching Tennessee this year. Unfortunately, the Cardinals, of all teams, drafted Doyle with the 5th overall pick, after some pretty weird stuff happened in the first few picks. The Cardinals were not the team I thought would take Doyle, but what the hell do I know? After that happened, I hoped that the previously thought to be number 4 pick, Jamie Arnold, fell to the Jays. And he did, but they didn't select him. My thought was that the Jays most likely want to try to compete within the next 3 to 4 years, and taking a high-end college arm or bat would be the best thing for those aspirations. But again, they know more than me, and instead took JoJo Parker, who was ranked number 9 by MLB Pipeline. JoJo hit .465 with 13 home runs and 158 plate appearances in his senior year at Purvis High School. What really intrigued me was his 4 strikeouts compared to 45 walks, giving him a .665 on-base percentage, paired with a 1.010 slugging percentage. This plate discipline, ability to put bat on ball, and do damage all got JoJo a 60 hit grade and 55 power grade. JoJo isn't the fastest or most athletic infielder amongst the class, so may have to move to third, but from what it looks like, he has some major upside and is definitely 8th overall pick worthy. I'm going to grade this pick with an A. I talked a lot about JoJo because the second round pick is going to be a really short conversation, because the Jays didn't have a second round pick. They forfeited it when they signed Anthony Santander because of the stupid qualifying offer rule that awards teams who don't want to pay their stars. That entire ruling could be a whole different video, but needless to say that I would have liked a more proven first round pick because the Jays didn't have a second round pick at all. Whatever though. Hopefully Santander gets healthy and gets back to his 40 home run potential, because that contract is already biting the Jays in the ass. And then there's a third round pick, Jake Cook. When I looked at Cook's profile, my eyebrows raised a bit. Ranked 106th by MLB Pipeline, but the Jays took him with the 81st pick, Cook is extremely athletic. He was a pitcher for the majority of his collegiate career before converting into an outfielder his senior year and posting a .350 average, 3 home runs, and a .905 OPS. These are all good numbers, but my main concern with this being the Jays' third round pick and second pick of the draft is the bat. I mean, it makes sense that the Jays picked a high floor guy, 80 grade speed with a home to first time of 3.8 seconds, and put up the best numbers in the combine in the following categories: 30-yard dash with 3.51 seconds, and long jump with 8.25 inches. It really feels like the Jays tried to pull a Rays type pick and get a Chandler Simpson of their own. For reference, according to Baseball America, Chandler Simpson runs from home to first in 3.9 seconds, meaning Cook is faster than Simpson in that stretch. From what I understand, Cook is a defense-first player who uses his speed to beat out infield hits and has a slap hitter approach. He also only had a 7% strikeout rate in his senior year after not facing pitching for a full 2 years. The main difference between Simpson and Cook is the stolen bases. Simpson steals any chance he gets, whereas Jake Cook has struggled with figuring the base stealing out. So do I necessarily like the Jays picking a slap-hitting 22-year-old who is defense first with their second pick? Not really. However, I do believe Cook could be impactful for the club sooner than many may think. So this pick gets a B-. Okay, the first three were a lot of talking. I'm going to try to shorten it up for you. The fourth and fifth picks are grouped together because the Jays picked from their own crop, Canadians. The fourth pick was used on Micah Buchanan, a 21-year-old starting pitcher out of Dallas Baptist University, and the fifth pick they took Tim Piacentin, an Albertan infielder out of Foothills Composite High School. Bucknam was ranked 131st by Pipeline and was actually drafted in the 2022 draft by the Jays in the 16th round out of high school. His breaking balls are graded 60 and 65 respectively. He had a 4.62 ERA with 80 strikeouts in 62 innings in his junior year at Dallas Baptist University. Bucknam is said to have some of the best spin on breaking balls and has a fastball that sits in the mid-90s. He will have to improve on his control and fastball to stick as a starter. I like the pick. B grade. Piacentin was ranked by Pipeline as the 160th best draft prospect and was taken 143rd overall. The 18-year-old has some real power with very nice exit velos and ability to catch up to velocity with a high bat speed. The main concerns are the swing and miss in his game and the fact that he isn't the best defensive third baseman, although he has a great arm. For a fifth rounder, he has some real upside with the power, and he is from Canada, so I'm going to grade this a B+. These rounds saw the Jays pick a bunch of older guys. This is often the case with these types of rounds, as most of the time high schoolers won't sign in these later rounds if they have college offers, whereas seniors or poorly performing college juniors are more likely to sign because they've run out of options. Now, I'm not a fan of older prospects heading into the farm system, but this is what happens, and you never know what could come of them, so I will give a quick analysis of each. Round 6, Eric Snow. 21-year-old Auburn utility infielder who hit .307 with an .896 OPS and 8 home runs last year. Most likely will be a defense first, maybe bench guy if he makes it to the major leagues. Good pick for versatility position-wise. C+ grade. Round 7 saw the Jays draft another 21-year-old out of Auburn, Dylan Watts, who had a poor year last year relieving, a 7.39 ERA in 28 innings with 28 punchouts. His fastball reaches high velocities and is described to have some good secondary and tertiary stuff, but I'm not completely on board with this pick. D+ grade. Round 8, the Jays drafted Danny Thompson Jr., pitched for Greensboro this past year and had a 3.79 ERA with 87 punchouts in 62 innings, splitting time between relieving and starting. I couldn't find much else on Thompson and will be forced to give a middle-of-the-pack grade with a C. Round 9, the Jays drafted Carson Ligon, a right-handed pitcher out of Mississippi State. The Jays seem to like his stuff a lot with a mid to high 90s fastball. The results weren't what Ligon wanted, as he had a 5.4 ERA in 13 starts with 73 strikeouts in 56 innings. I'm not super keen on this pick, as he is 22 and most likely won't sniff close to the majors for 3 years at least. I'm trying to keep in mind that this is a late pick and is unlikely to work out, so I will give it a C. Round 10 saw Austin Smith go to the Jays, a two-way senior for San Diego State who was announced as an outfielder. I like this pick, but it is a prime example of teams not caring about stats necessarily, but are looking for tools over anything. Smith had a .353 batting average with 6 homers and a .940 OPS, which are great stats, but he is 22 years old and nothing really jumped off the page. I doubt Smith will ever pitch in pro ball, as that was not his strength, but I do like the possible value from his 10th round pick. A- grade. These are the last two picks I will be commenting on, as it is becoming increasingly more difficult to find any information on these players, and the players picked later are less likely to sign anyways. Round 11 saw the Jays select Jared Spencer, who, I can't lie, I think was my favorite non-top 5 move by the Jays in the entire draft. Spencer was actually ranked 122nd by MLB Pipeline due to his strong senior start, where he had a 3.27 ERA and 66 strikeouts in 55 innings and 10 starts. Unfortunately, the left-handed pitcher dropped so low in the draft because he had to undergo shoulder surgery and miss the rest of the year. Spencer has a 55 grade fastball, 65 grade slider, and 55 grade changeup with a 45 overall grade. There is no telling how he will be after the surgery, but this could very well be a steal late in the draft, and the Jays have done this type of thing in the past, taking risks on players who were hurt. A+ grade. Round 12, and the final pick we will be covering is Blaine Bullard. MLB Pipeline had him as the 120th best player coming into the draft, so it is pretty surprising to see him taken in the 12th round. I think it's mainly because he is committed to Texas A&M and he is from Houston. Bullard is very unlikely to sign due to this, as he may be able to spend some time in college and increase his draft stock, which he will probably do, especially because he is committed to his home university. The switch-hitting outfielder has some okay bat-to-ball skills, but his defense is what scouts like most about his game. It would be amazing if he does sign with the Jays at this pick, but it is highly unlikely, and for that, a B grade. Well, there is my analysis on the first 12 rounds of the Blue Jays 2025 draft. Before you click off, I know it's been a long one, but I have some final thoughts to bring out. The first is why I look at the late round picks in the first place. Let me use an example. I direct your attention to Jays' 24th overall prospect, Sam Shaw. He was the 9th round pick by the Jays in 2023 and is hitting pretty well as a 20-year-old in A-ball. I was debating putting him on the prospects I like list in my previous video, but opted not to because we hadn't seen too much of him yet. But he goes to show that later draft picks can have potential, and he may very well be a guy who makes a major league club one day. The last thing I want to point out is the fact that the Jays' first pick, JoJo Parker, has a twin brother, Jacob Parker, who was projected to go in the 2nd or 3rd round. He ended up going in the 19th round to the Diamondbacks, which I think is mainly because of his extremely strong commitment to Mississippi State. I thought it would have been cool for the Jays to draft the two brothers, with JoJo being a more complete hitting infielder and Jacob being a power hitting outfielder. But it looks like we will most likely see Jacob in a few years being drafted out of college. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Have a good day.